The cold floor of the tower in the Needle's Eye Pass. I can still feel the sensation on my bare feet. The thought of that place has yet to go away. I made sure to gather blood samples from the corpse of this monster before it was properly disposed of, because I want to know how it was created. When it comes to this line of work, the best option is to sever the jugular veins. Similar to humans and average beasts, the majority of a monster's blood supply will be around its head and neck, both of which have major arteries that can lead to blood loss as well as death.
The monster is dead. Hurrah. We got lucky. And I wanted nothing to do with it as I watched one after another as everybody started to die or get close to it. And I've thrown myself at a lot of things, but just in those possibly final moments, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to throw myself at anything anymore. I just wanted to run, which isn't good for a Cathar. I can only hope to be better for the future.
Before arriving back in Silburn, I managed to speak with some of the others. Cillian knows about the deal I made with Sir Lane. He didn't seem angry, and who knows what would have happened if I didn't tell him. I've already seen what a vampire's life is like for people I know, and I wouldn't want him to become trapped in a similar scenario. As for Asuriel, no telling if we'll see her again, but I think she had every right to leave. She still seeks answers, and she deserves to have them. Valerie, I just cannot bring myself to become closer with him. And I hope with what I told him that he understands why, or can respect my reasoning. For the sake of Lorelei and Cillian, I will try to be more or less acquaintances with him, because Valerie seems important to the both of them. Mostly Cillian, I think.
We only lost one person. Technically not lost. They just moved on to whatever they're doing now. But I think she'll do good wherever she's going. She seems scared wherever she ended up because she didn't know what anything was or what was happening. So I'm glad she can go out there to try and find who she is. On our way back to Silburn, we encountered another obelisk. The swamps have grown in size. Not sure what's causing it, but there's a, similar to the first one we found, a monument with a different magic to it. I think it's sickly. It pulls from nature around it. But they're both pointing in the same direction, so they're either pointing somewhere or someone's pulling from it. Whether it's a push or pull, I'm sure there's a source.
While I do not intend to stay in Silver long, I need to rest and have Dr. Mueller help mend the wound on my forehead. Before I could get to the doctor's place, the Cathar Casper Lowe gave me a letter from Repellum. Apparently something or someone is after Lorelei. A month ago, when she had been thinking about the late Lars Grey, what else occurred? What was that question to the Falkenrath vampire about a necromancer? I need time to think, but we need to have a private conversation for talking about it with our traveling companions. Right now, there's nothing more I can do about it until after I seek medical assistance. Then it's on to Henmer.
I believe it was Amrita, Cillian, and Val who had been led to Casper Lowe's abode. Amrita reading this letter, and the two Vistani peering over her shoulders to get a look at it too. She starts to pace, and the two of you aren't really sure. It's like she's reading it over again, almost, becoming a little more agitated as she does.
I'll just shoot Cillian like a glance to see, like, is that normal? Is that good? Is that
Biggest
bad?
shrug of his life.
Okay. Contemplates if he should, like, get Amrita's attention, but he waits for a moment before eventually waving his hand to, see if she even recognizes him right now, or if she, just keeps on reading or, doing whatever.
I think Repellum has been mentioned where Cillian has been. I'm not sure though.
Probably.
Remember?
During Amrita's like little moment of madness when she wasn't recognizing us,
Oh, right.
she
did
called
mention
Cillian
Repellum.
Repellum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, she's gonna quickly like shut it and like fold it up and like put it in her coat pocket. And is Casper Lowe still there, or is he gone?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's
She
his
just kind of
house.
nods. Thank you. Do you know if the doctor is in, the Dr. Mueller?
This would be a bit late. I mean, he's always in, but emergencies only, I suppose. At this late hour. Of course, tomorrow is the holy day. Likely catch him at the morning service. More people have been attending recently. But it's good to see.
Or sure. I'm sure the priestess does some great speeches.
I appreciate the delivery of this letter, and I bid you a good evening then, Mr. Lowe.
Tip his hat.
As soon as Amrita's sort of out of earshot, to say, always business with her. No time to catch up with an old friend. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to follow her. I miss her too, by the way, Myra. She was great.
I have heard rumors of stories out of Braylet. Some descriptions of individuals who I recognized. I would like to hear that story at some point.
Oh, trust me, with all the flair I can muster, we're fucking heroes, dude.
That is what I have heard.
Yeah, so if you ever need someone, we're up for hire. Well, not really, I think we're going on. But love to talk to
I
you
will
more,
have
man.
to estimate what the church will pay for clearing the needle's eye pass. That is quite a feat unto itself. I will get back with you in the morning. Hopefully see you at the service.
Would you consider, I'm sure it's open anyway, but I'd love to do some, and he almost spits the words out of his mouth, reading? Is the tower open for individuals, not collapsing at any moment?
Well, that I cannot promise, but if you would like to peruse the library, I can escort you out there at some point. This evening, or you said you're following Amrita?
Yeah, I'm going with Amrita for now. It's probably going to be tomorrow, but thanks though.
I will not be there until after the service, but...
I'll probably attend the service. It's been a while.
Excellent.
Right. Have a nice evening. You coming too, Val? Up for seeing the doc?
Val looks very... You see this mixture of, like, conflict and, like, guilt on his face. Something is, like, bothering him.
I mean,
kind
you
of
don't
looks
have to. I just thought you were, like, buddies.
He moves over to Lowe and writing on a piece of paper Did the doctor say anything? And he seems to be... It's like a pretty open question before he realizes that. Grabbing the piece of paper back, writes to the Cathars. Generally, authorities, people who look out for this place is what he means.
Watch you write on this little side desk that he has in his main room, seeing the pause and just like waiting for you to finish the sentence, because like ultimately when you write it and look up at him with this one eye of yours, what's the expression on Val's face?
Val looks very much like guilty, like he knows what he has done. He knows what this specific question means for him, so he wants to see if the doctor was worried, and that's he doesn't want the doctor to worry, so he feels double guilty. He just wants to see what the situation is in that regard.
There were rumors that, well, it being the start of the harvest moon, that perhaps you had been part of the Markov's first attacks. I'm glad to see that's not the case. We never found any evidence of it. I think Dr. Mueller held out hope. Not sure how long that lasted.
He very much grimaces, this very deep sadness mixing in with the guilt as he nods, and taking the piece of paper, just writes a quick thank you, leaves on the desk, follow as he looks at the other two, unless Amrita's already like
Yeah,
out the
she's
door.
already
Yeah,
just
she's
like walking
I'm
it and
gone,
everything.
suckers.
Yeah.
But looking back at Cillian, nods and moves, indicating that they can go.
As you do, Casper will clap his hand on your shoulder. It's good to have you back, boy.
He tries to smile, but there's so much going on that he's like, I don't feel like smiling, but it's, the right thing to do here.
Especially with Casper's personality, just always a little more upbeat than most people.
Yeah. At this point, Val is just, trying to get out of this situation and going towards the next situation that he doesn't really like. But, that's kind of on him.
All right, let's go. See you, Casper.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we won't catch up with her because her pace is brisk. But let's try.
Yeah.
Can I have Cillian just make a wisdom check, not a save, just a check, please?
Wisdom
yes.
save, head explodes. Jesus Christ.
I won't impose any penalty for that because this is just a random thing unless you want to. But
I already rolled it.
well, like I said, it wasn't actually a save, it was just a check, but it's up to you. If you want to have the Geist interfere in this moment, you can. If not, just narratively, how do you want to play that out?
Let's see if it's fun roleplay or not. Well, the third one is.
Cillian, I see dead people.
Yeah, we know.
No.
Yeah, no, let's not. He's probably distracted, thinking about Markov drop.
And do we spot her anywhere, or is she already like?
The streets of
kind
Silburn are never the busiest. It's a relatively small town, and you know that the doctor's house/office is on the main drag. So while you're not 100% sure it's her, but you see motion in a head taller than most off in the distance. It's getting toward evening, so the shadows are cast across the town, and some of the torches are starting to be lit, but it's probably Amrita.
Yeah, then Val will let out a whistle using his hand to get her attention, as depending on if that person stops or not, making his way over there.
What? You... Good grief.
I repeat the whistle, but make it a really wolf whistle.
Cillian is so extra.
You two are being rather slow.
I'm sorry. You're catching up with old friends,
He's not a friend, Cillian.
Everyone's a friend. Or can be.
Val is like, but doesn't, not that he could say anything, but points at Amrita's forehead and does like a thumbs down and a thumbs up to see if, she has any sort of pain or if she, like the hole is actively bothering her to currently see what the situation is.
That's not bothersome right now, but it needs to be dealt with. I'd rather stay in Silver no more than a day if possible, to be honest with you.
I've got enough money for a night call, so I'm sure I'll be fine.
Swallowing hard, looking at the both of them. How far away are we from the doctors right now? Are we nearby?
Depending on if you would have kept walking when you caught up with her or stopped, so
I
potentially pretty close.
Okay, cool. Then moving up to the house or, finishing the remainder of the distance, Val will just knock to see if, the doctor's still up or, if he's asleep.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite sundown, so
okay.
he's in the habit of staying up pretty late. And but it's still like that. There's that feeling of you don't really have the right to come and go anymore. So you knock and just hear this familiar but muffled voice enter.
Looking at Amrita and Cillian, gestures for them to enter first before he kind of
without pause.
All right, move out of the way.
My house now.
Yeah, I'm
Val is kind of
door
just
first.
sort of like trying to almost hide behind these two for a moment.
It looks as though Dr. Mueller had been in the process of placing his medical mask back on as you're entering and adjusting the hat. He's still wearing like these heavy black leathers despite it being relatively warm. The house itself, or his office on the lower level, there's a bit of a chill when you enter. Like maybe it's just because outside is the harvest moon being one of the warmer, more humid parts of the year. There's almost like a colder in here. But he stands there, the mirrored goggles on his mask blocking out even the sight of his eyes, looking you all over. Come back.
Simply passing through.
Is this a social call?
I mean, if you want it to be, though, we do have a pressing issue.
Nudges Amrita. Get on with it, because this should be treated.
Figured since you helped our friend out last time, she will take off the headband, very careful with it, and see how he reacts to her forehead.
Aware. But he will step up to Amrita specifically. She is about a head taller than him. So he's got like this beaked mask that's like in your space as he's looking up at it. Sit.
All right. She goes to a nearby chair to sit down.
Which feels more like a dentistry chair than anything else. It has like the capability of being like leaned back. It's not comfortable. It's wooden and steel construction. But yeah, he will then like hit this foot pedal, which lets you drop back rather quickly as he looms over you. An excessive amount of scar tissue. What happened here?
Parasite of unknown origin.
You may have to continue.
Gives her like a nod, gesturing for her to like go on.
It almost appears as though an animal had clawed your face.
About yay size. Rooted into her brain. We pulled it out, and it left a hole. It was definitely aggressive. It had like something like a beak. It bit me when it was in my fingers.
Never heard of anything like this. I'm intrigued. What do you want me to do about it? It appears as though the flesh has healed over, though indelicately.
Is there a way you could help mend it, or take a look at the skull in a way, or just check the skin to where it's properly healed?
You revert back to his not too distant methods. Snap for Valerie to grab one of his instruments.
Yeah, Val, hearing that, stiffens for a moment and does as he's told.
Yeah, there's a tray of prodding and poking tools, pliers and that sort of thing as well. And yeah, he will use those to probe at the flesh. Does seem to be there is something missing there. Do you wish me to apply some kind of alchemical experiment on it? I'm willing to do so, but it will be more costly, of course. I'd like to see the results, but alternatively, I could create some kind of resin that shouldn't be rejected by the flesh itself. Create an organic barrier between the brain tissue.
Well, might as well. What would you need for? How much specifically for it?
Which one?
Mm.
Will depend on the extent of the surgery, of course.
If I have to weigh in, experimenting is always cooler.
Does often yield the more interesting results.
Exactly.
How quickly can you perform it?
Not done a lot of work with bone and marrow. Would take several weeks.
Yikes.
I would think you would want this done properly.
I mean, that's true.
Alternatively, the patch could be done, seal up the hole, allow the flesh to regrow over a day to perform. Several days of rest, of course.
This look on her face, just groan internally.
We have the time, but this is your choice. You've been pressing on wanting to do it quickly. I'd suggest doing it, but it's your choice.
How many weeks would it be? You said several, but how many in total?
You're asking about the specifics of something that is, to my knowledge, never been achieved. At least not by myself. To give you that kind of timetable would be irresponsible. I only know what I would need to prepare to test.
Something else to think about. Oh, sorry. I don't want to interrupt a doctor.
Look at you as you keep talking. Or if you assume he's looking at you, the beak just goes your direction. Barring mishaps or failures. I wouldn't suspect more than a solid week. Then there will be the recovery time, of course.
People don't like us here. What I was going to say before I rudely interrupted Dr. Mueller here.
You do have an odd reputation.
If there's a way, you can experiment on it, and perhaps, depending on how it goes, I can take care of the rest of it myself. And just look after it. You could probably give me guidelines, maybe.
Are you medically inclined, trained in any sort?
Raises his hand as he looks at Amrita, scribbling very quickly on a note. I could look after it.
Some very adept 5 fingers.
I'm to understand then that you don't plan on staying.
There's an expression of like, I don't want to do this now. Seeing as the answer is still pending, nods for a moment, gesturing, wants to tell the doctor later. Well, telling, converse with him.
It's fine. You will send me detailed reports. If that is all for the evening, I'll estimate a bill.
We will have the money. So we're starting tomorrow then?
Maybe at noon.
Fine.
Thank you so much for your time. You are like the 4th best doctor I've ever met.
Val elbows Cillian at that. Maybe
What?
like it's unintentional, but like maybe a little bit too hard.
I'm not going to lie to a doctor. I've met many doctors, weirdly.
His bony elbows.
Have a good evening, Dr. Mueller.
We'll get out of your
Yeah.
mask. I'm sorry.
Amrita puts the headband back on and walks outside, but
Annoyance builds.
Take a bow.
To
leave
be
two.
clear, you still have the option if you want to have like a resin put in there. It won't be real bone, but it'll function the same way. That would be quicker and cheaper, but it wouldn't, regrow the bone itself. It would function the same way, but the doctor wouldn't get any interesting results out of it.
like it
Nope.
getting a cavity filled.
Yeah, so might as well do the experiment one. Why not?
Second head is like, shit.
Right. In? So you go outside.
Where else to go?
What's this one called again?
The Brass Bell Saloon,
Thank you.
which you can see as you approach. The wooden sign of looks like a cow has the leather strap with this brass bell literally tied back around the neck of the sign, the one that had been stolen by Big Tuck and worn around for a while because he wanted to.
Not much on me. I'll just get a room that Lorelei and I can share, and perhaps you three can share a room.
Acrio and Lorelei are sharing.
You're not going to put either of them in such a situation like that.
Dude, that's like, I haven't read many books, but that's like having to share a bed is like the main thing.
The crux of many stories.
Cillian is an avid purveyor of fanfiction.net.
I'm really tired.
We'll get 3 then. I'm sure. Val, has Val joined us?
And
Sounds like
he
he's
would,
going to stay back.
Okay.
Basically, he handed you like a snippet that says like, go on without me.
Okay, then before I
Leaving
left,
it open-ended, if he's joining, but, telling him to go ahead.
Sure. I did catch his elbow before leaving out of earshot. Dr. Murray, like, you're gonna have to tell me what the fuck is going on here someday, okay? Not now. Stay. And I leave. Alright, so, Amrita, 2 or 3 rooms?
3 rooms. You're not honestly going to suggest I'm in a room with Valerie. You two should be in a room together. I just...
Just a bit of it to the chest.
But I'm telling you, as soon as the other 2 get back to town, whatever.
The surly bartender, this very wide individual with like jawbones that almost protrude out with the mutton chop hair that just makes it almost seem like the whitest part of his face, wiping down the bar as one does. And yeah, he will remind you, rooms are, as always, 2 copper for the hour or 2 gold for the night.
I will slide over 6 gold. Thank you so much for your service. We will be having breakfast in the morning if you're into preparing such things. Some of our folks will come later. I'm sure they'll mention me. They're always talking about me.
Oh, I'm sure. Do I hold on to the key, or will you be taking this now? You can have all 3 at the moment if you'd like.
I'll take all 3. I like being master of keys.
Maybe I'll get you something to drink in the meantime.
You got it. Something strong, but not dark fire. You have that?
We're unfortunately still short with the supply lines across the Needle's Eye being dried. But
fucking Revito then.
Got a good supply of that.
Rita goes and sits at a table.
And we'll join her.
Can I have both of you make perception checks real quick? Cillian has other things on his mind. Amrita also, to an extent. But you just happen to notice that one of the employees you had previously encountered, Samantha, doesn't seem to either be working tonight or working at all.
No.
Amrita's not going to make note of it.
Understand. Have a nice evening. Around this time, Lorelei and Acrio on the front of his cart, led by these 4 draft horses pulling this, massive stone forge wagon, come rolling up to the gates of Silburn.
First thing we do when we get into town, I'm not sure.
Find where the others are.
There's no real reason for us to be here besides something that Amrita wanted to do.
And also the fact that we're tired. Just in town.
Yeah.
We need supplies. We need sleep.
Acrio does have a level of exhaustion as well, so that's probably why he's not thinking very clearly.
Yeah.
A little loopy.
Casper Lowe does have a giant house. So yeah, drive the carriage and everything over to the stables first, drop that off, and then meander on over with
fair amount of looks from people in town as this smoking monstrosity just rolls through Silburn, getting a lot of weird looks.
Lorelei is hiding, like just pulling things over because like she's probably sat in the cart, and if people are looking at it, it means she's in the peripheral, and it's just like no, hate it. She's just contorting in the back of the cart, like yeah.
And he's in a better mood. Occasionally wave to anyone he recognizes.
Roll percentile.
Sure.
Nobody recognizes you. It's like, who the fuck is this guy?
80. I don't know if that's good or bad.
There's like you recognize some people, and it's like most other towns in Stensia where nobody really shows a lot of enthusiasm for things like, oh hey, how you doing, buddy? It's like you wave and they can watch you pass.
Yeah, so we'll drop the cart off at the stables, leave it out front, talk to the person running the place, pay whatever bullshit they want from us, and
they'll probably do a gold per horse to stable them for the night. If you want them fed. If you want to feed them yourselves, that's your prerogative.
Fine. How many horses do I have? 6?
4.
196. Got it. Yeah, he's not going to bother looking for anybody. He's not going to try and talk to anyone. He's tired. Probably just wants to get a room. I was about to say get a room with Lorelei. We ain't doing that yet.
This isn't our idea.
See what Cillian has to say about that.
Oh, I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Drag Lorelei off to the tavern. Get food, probably.
Yeah.
He's probably hungry.
We need dinner. And that's probably where a good guess of where the others would be.
Got any cheese?
Oh no, too soon.
They do, obviously, but
Just makes Lorelei think of Asuriel.
Oh,
Good thing
there
you
you
guys
are.
didn't die in a swamp. Welcome back. Done anything interesting?
Did we?
No, not really. Didn't
Yeah,
see
not
anything.
really.
Oh, unfortunate. See,
Yeah,
we were right again.
just
But it was
swamp
another
excursion.
one of the same rocks, so
Oh, I thought we were lying about what we saw. Yes, there were very interesting things there. There was a fucking
That was a
rock
good one.
coming out of the game.
I did believe you guys.
Yeah. Still pointing in the same direction.
Hmm.
Not
think
sure.
that's
Okay,
what the point.
I was being facetious about you being interested in that thing earlier. It was strange, but there's two in the same direction. Same magic?
No,
no, this
different.
one was different. It's different color, different vibe.
Very insightful for you to know to ask that, but
Tristan, I'm gonna kill you.
Lorelei.
Yeah.
Cillian got some rooms and everything, but if you have time, perhaps we could converse privately later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately, logistically, it only worked out if you guys were in a room together. Just saying.
as
What,
he
me
hands
and-
over one key.
Me
One
and
key.
Amrita?
No, there's like a strict male-female policy in this establishment.
Cillian? You're joking, right?
I got 3 rooms.
She's just gonna like lean in really close to Cillian and be like, "Are you fucking implying that me and Acrio share a room in a brothel?"
Yeah.
Acrio will
Works.
saunter on up to Cillian. Looks like you and I are sharing a room, buddy.
Didn't say no.
Yay!
Not against it. I'm just
All right, here I hand the key to Lorelei and the key to Amrita. Do it that way. I don't mind sharing a room with Acrio, by the way. But, you know,
I mean
if you get to the dinner table and your dinner's eaten, I can't do anything about it.
Listen, Cillian's probably seen me the naked the most, so
Mm-hmm.
About that
see.
private conversation, Lorelei, perhaps we should go have it now.
yeah, you know what? That's a great idea. Yeah, let's leave.
Yeah, you know what? Just give this key to Val and hands it back to Cillian.
Sure, I think he'll probably stay with the doctor, but
Then give it to the next random drunk fucker that comes in.
yeah, I'll be a good Samaritan. I like
Pay it
that.
forward. Right, I'm just gonna look at Amrita and just like nudge her. It's like, just let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah, she motions for her to just like, follows her.
Cillian.
Alcohol, yeah, bro.
Cillian thrives in awkward situations.
Yeah.
Lorelei is the color of beetroots.
Damn, didn't know paste white could get that red.
You didn't listen to me when I said to only get 2 rooms.
I'm gonna throttle him. I'm gonna. I don't have time for this anyway. What is it?
No.
What is it you want us to talk about?
Make
This
sure the
seems
door.
important.
Yeah, let's make sure the
Oh.
door's locked and everything too. We don't want
Oh.
them to
Okay.
be interrupting.
You know, Cillian can probably like spy on us with his like little ghosty things, right?
Probably, but he didn't
As soon
think
as
about
that
that in the
mentioned,
moment.
Reagan pulls back.
He's just like shit.
Shit. I have to go.
Caught
He's
in
like,
the caught in the
fucking
eye.
on
what you're talking
Joss.
about.
Caught in 4K.
You know what? That's something I'll think about later. Because half the time he probably doesn't even pay attention, or he's had a lot of alcohol by that point. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, I got a letter from Repellum.
Great. Is he okay? Does he need help?
He is fine. The letter was very hard to read at first, but she opens it and unfurls it and sees what happens when she turns it over to Lorelei, but I don't know if you can see anything else that appears other than what's here. Do you? Or do you
like
not?
he put a riddle in it? I'm guessing I don't see the.
Yeah, you read over
Newsorius,
the
yeah.
letter as quickly as you'd like, detailed as you want, Lorelei. But yeah, it seems to just be a very finely calligraphied piece of correspondence.
It's just a fancy letter to me. I don't see anything. Should I?
Rolls it back up. Probably not, since he used some form of mana to where only I could see the secret message hidden in it, since he appears to still be with that detective fellow, Wolfgang.
That's I don't. So what is it that you see that I'm not seeing?
Well, he told me specifically where the sensorium is, even though no one is technically supposed to know, but it is a good thing that when we first arrived in Silburn that I found the symbol here, because I'm thinking maybe I've already have something prepped now that's come to mind, since you and Acrio have mentioned that cryptolith, but we'll get to that in a second.
Right.
We can contact Repellum if the letter is written to Constantine. I can write to the post in Eswald, and yeah, there are some things I'm curious about. That's why I wanted to speak to you in private, since no one else here really knows Repellum other than you and I, and because we have traveled the longest together and have experienced a great many troubles. What... Did something else happen when Cillian and I were gone in Shadowgrange? What was this question about a necromancer that you had?
Oh well. So you know how I told you that I sent a message to Repellum like magically, and then he was like, "Don't do that again, because people are listening."
Yes.
Well, he wasn't the first person I. Or was he? Can't remember if he was first or if the necromancer was first.
It's a little blurry.
Yeah. He wasn't the only person I sent a message to that day. But he was the only one that responded. I also tried to contact the necromancer, and I didn't get a response. So when that vampire offered information, I leapt at it. But I don't know. I don't think he has anything to do with what Rapella might be talking about. I think it might be something else that also happened while during that month that we were apart.
Care to elaborate?
Just promise you won't think I'm insane.
By this point, I have no idea what to think. We saw a talking gargoyle, and the spirit was trapped in that, so...
Well, the problem is, I kind of wandered around the forge a little bit and left Acrio to his own devices. I didn't want to bother him, and while I was rummaging around, I found this mirror, and Lars was in it, and he was talking to me, and I know you said that maybe when I saw him on the way to Braylet that it might have been like Riverx playing a trick on me, but he was still there and Riverx is gone. I don't know what to do.
Well, clearly Repellum seems to know, because really, I can't say I was always inclined to interact with some of the people I met early on, yet I find myself thinking more about them now that they're dead versus when they were alive. But Repellum has always been observant to everyone he's met, including Lars himself. So he might be able to properly discern the rest of this. And I know it's a lot because he, to some extent, mattered to... I'm not really best at this sort of thing, talking about it, but...
Well, I can make it worse. I think there's also something else.
Okay.
And Lorelei's gonna look back at her shadow, wherever it's cast right now. When we were in the tower, not in the tower, when we were at the tower, after we had defeated that creature thing, did you you're probably busy, you've probably focused on other shit. Did you notice that there was a shadow of me as well hanging around a little bit?
Out of character, those of us that were on the ground noticed, right? Or I think...
And she also did it in the tower as well.
You've seen Lorelei use this spell of questionable origin to make odd things appear. She's done black, shadowy, wispy versions of half zombies, different things. You've never seen her prior to that project, a similar type of image that looked like herself. But it's up to you if you would have taken note of that as being odd.
So it was more than your usual projection of mana that would track, seeing as...
I'm not in the habit of making any more of me. It's not something I really wanted to do. I thought maybe it might have been because before we fought Riverax, I did it a few times and it was getting really fiery and it looked demonic, so I thought maybe it was just influenced that way, but then obviously now it came pretty much out of nowhere. I thought for a second that it was just a shadow, but I held it. I held me at one point, and I don't know exactly what it is. It's just I have a shadow me now. So there's a few things that could be a malicious entity, as Repellent put it. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
I will compose a letter if you'd like. Write it to Constantine, and he will pass it on to Repellum. That is the only way we can get in contact with him. But if you do not want me to bring it up instantly, I won't. I know it's hard. That's the way Innistradan life is. And when the eye was still trapped where it was, it altered a lot of stuff for me. And I just don't want that to happen to anyone else. We'll figure it out. It'll be fine. I need a rest. Tomorrow is the holy day. And Dr. Mueller is going to perform something at noon. That will be rather costly, but at least Casper Lowe said they would pay for the passing of the Needle's Eye Pass. And the cryptoliths, I have thought of a way to keep the information vague but interesting, as Repellum suggested. And I will post it on that board. And then no more than either a day or two in Silburn, because, as a reminder too, Cooper knows one of us is... well, I don't have to tell you, and there's already been glances at us.
To be clear, Emery, that if you're going for the more extensive bone regrowth alchemically option, that's going to take at least a week after he performs the initial surgery for him to figure out everything he needs to do. If you want to go with the quick option, if that's what you would like to do to move on, that's fine also.
Okay. Or I could do that, which that may be the wiser decision for a week. But I've already wasted so much time. I don't know. I need to sleep and rest on it, but... such bullshit.
Just don't tell Acrio, please.
I'll leave that up to you. You didn't tell him that I healed you before, so we'll leave it at that. Every person should have a chance, if they have things going on, to tell someone that they consider important.
Do you think it really is Lars that spoke to me? I know last time you weren't convinced, but now, do you really think it's him?
I don't know. Maybe a part of it could be, but the part of it not. That's why I have to get to Henry, you see. Lorelei, I know what it feels like when you have cared about someone and you need to know what happened to them regardless, or if it's them, or if they're anywhere, and then if they're not, then what can you really do?
So that's why you want to go to Henry then?
So much has happened. I have been trying very hard to... that's another conversation for another time. I really need to... I'd rather just go to sleep.
Yeah, of course.
Meanwhile, Val has hung back at the doctor's office as he is quietly waited for you to probably write something, as he's gestured to the table where there's some of his notepads and that sort of thing.
First thing Val would write is, "I'm sorry," trying to see if there's any reaction to that.
I've always been strangely full of contradictions. I assumed you got involved with those people first time, and they decided to stay here as an odd choice, and then you disappeared. My first thought was, vampires. Glad it's not. But you could have said something. Metaphorically, of course.
He continues to write. Do you think I went with the others? I went after them.
Honestly, I was a little surprised when you showed up back with them. They've been gone for a while. There didn't seem to be any connection. Maybe there's some kind of fate pulling you together, if you believe in that sort of thing.
Muses over that for a moment, rolling the idea of like this being fate around in his head. I suppose so.
Feel paler than normal, and that's saying something. I suggest you do something about that. Gestures to his larder, like where the food is kept and that sort of thing.
Looks over, smiles.
You haven't been across the Cruin Pass into Gavany.
He shakes his head.
Good. See him pull his hat off and take his mask off and set it down on the table, just wiping his face. Reports of the pox are getting worse. It's only a matter of time before it does cross this way.
Looks at the doctor before moving over to the, what was it, like a food basket?
A larder, like, you know, like
a
kitchen area.
Okay, sure. He
Above
will.
ground cellar.
Area, then.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, me as a non-native English speaker, I'm like, what the fuck? Sure. He will get some food, both for him and the doctor. Something simple, pretty much, but he wants to, prepare food for the both of them, even if it's, just something very plain, very simple.
The doctor will assist in that, considering you only have the one hand. Yeah.
He very much appreciates that. Pauses for a moment. Grabbing onto the pen, he wants to write something before stopping himself and placing a hand on his heart, reaching out to place a hand on the doctor's heart. He wants to indicate kinship that he feels between the both of them. He doesn't really know if, the doctor, if the idea comes across as such, but he hopes it does. Before grabbing the pen again, he writes a single word onto a piece of paper that he hands to the doctor, and it just reads family.
I never had the interest in such things before. I think it was the younger ones that dissuaded me, always screeching and uncontrollable. But there is something comforting in passing down one's skills to the next generation.
Out of nowhere, he knows the doctor is not, a very physical person, but he will, knowing that the doctor is not, the most touchy.
He's not adverse to it, but like,
yeah,
he's hungry. He's getting close to dinner.
He does.
So.
Yeah, he's like a genuine, very heartfelt hug, but eventually breaks away. Smiles up at the doctor, and this would probably also be the first time the doctor himself has seen Val genuinely smile. This is very warm, a very radiant almost expression that lights up his scarred face for a moment, grabs some of the food and begins to set the table, waiting for the doctor to follow.
He will grab something out of one of the upper cabinets, cloth-wrapped deal, start to unwrap it, and he has this hunk of blue cheese. And he'll just be like, cheese. The new batch is it's different, I'm not sure. He picks off one of the crumbles and nibbles on that.
Seeing cheese instinctively narrows his eyes, but he eventually just nods and taking a piece of cheese as well. Is it good or
roll
Make a con save.
D6?
Val suddenly grows massive tits.
Oh, God. Throwback to when Ben called it the milk shack. You did, though.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Okay, yeah. A very excited gleam in his eye for a moment as he appreciates, it's a very simple thing, but he manages to appreciate it regardless as he takes another small piece and waiting for the doctor as they, I assume, have a meal. He contemplates, he's torn. On one hand, he wants to stay for the night here, but the others are at the inn, so he's like not sure on what to do before eventually deciding for himself that he wants to visit the others. He wants to get more involved with like the people in his life, as prior he has been shutting pretty much anybody except for the doctor out. He wants to change that. As writing on.
Well, it's good because I've moved a bunch of things up into that side room. It's cluttered now.
Blinks for a moment, about to say something as if to protest, before eventually just indicating that it's all right. And getting up, he gives the doctor one more hug before just darting out the door, moving towards the saloon.
During the meal, the doctor probably would have spitballed some of his ideas for bone marrow regrowth and that sort of thing, just, rudimentary things like mixing herbs and stuff that you might need to know if Amrita chooses to go that course.
He would have taken notes, make sure he's got everything on a list so that he knows what to look out for.
The church bell chiming in the morning wakes Cillian, still slightly tipsy from his night before with Val. And those of you who are not yet up for any reason, some people are early risers, but those who are not, it's the morning of the holy day, and the bell calls those who would to the weekly service. But you do have some time. This is like the early rising bell.
What if I don't go to church?
I mean, you do what you want.
Sounds like heresy to me.
Cillian rolls over, just sees wherever Acrio is.
Not there, because he's an earlier riser, baby!
Ow.
Well, give me a con save for that.
Oh,
because you have a level of exhaustion, so we'll see if you wake up.
I don't think that's supposed to be disadvantage.
No, saves are not. So with a 15, yeah, you can be up and about. Not fully armored yet, I don't think, but...
Yeah, no armor. But the church bells aren't the only bell being heard, because he's also working. Or trying to.
He can be getting ready for sure.
Yeah.
I just roll out of bed, drink water, because I forgot to last night, again, like every time when I drink.
Stillburn's generally disinclined to hand out water. The doctor advises against it. We have a glass of milk.
Okay, sure, milk.
A glass of beer.
No, he skips everything then. He'll live through it. And just goes downstairs for breakfast.
Well, like I said, Acrio would still be in the room if you have something to
Oh,
discuss
sorry,
with him.
missed that.
Yeah, he's just getting ready for the day,
shit.
already up.
Fuck you, Jake. Can't be awake at all hours, fucking working on the forge every single minute. I hate it here.
Right, morning. When I was fucked up with Val, I thought of something.
Okay.
We're supposed to take an ugly cow. Now, I would never call a woman an ugly cow, but this is actually an ugly cow. Are we still doing that? Because Cooper will definitely knows now that we are here. And if we skip out on him, he's gonna, I don't know, be angry, which I don't mind, but, we did promise.
I mean, we did promise. We have no reason to say no.
Well, one reason, we'd have to take a cow. All right, fine. We'll do it. Talk to him when we leave.
Acrio hitting him with that. Did I stutter?
Cillian, being Vistani and having traveled more extensively in and out of Stinsia than Acrio would have, would probably know getting livestock across any of the passes is a challenge.
It's not gonna be easy.
Never is.
Fucking hate Cathars, you know that?
There's a reason I stay inside walls and you stay outside them.
Yeah, probably wise. Alright, you planning to go to church, or?
Yeah.
You so excited?
No, I had something so quippy. I said, I was gonna say, as soon as I step outside walls, everybody dies, and as soon as you step inside them, people start dying.
Fuck yeah. Well, I'm going after breakfast. We need to hurry up. I think Amrita is keeping up pace.
You're going to go to church, and you're going
Yeah.
to take Amrita with you.
No,
Oh,
probably
okay.
not. I don't know. Felt like it.
Hmm.
Think we should be in tune with the angels.
Can I have Cillian roll one more wisdom check? Just to see.
Just to see how much bullshit he's spewing.
Interesting. You know that moment where you're not thinking about anything in particular, like you're on one train of thought, and then your brain will just pop up something else that just like makes a connection that you weren't intending? It's kind of the moment when Cillian's talking about this, Amrita's like pressing forward and everything like that. You remember her talking about the full moon and the werewolf thing being approaching, and Cillian had lived most of his life amongst the daughters of miasma, which are mostly, there are very few males, and suddenly it just clicks. There's another lunar cycle that most of his family had to track as well. And you realize, oh yeah, Lorelei's also acting kind of weird, and freaking Asuriel just bolting out of nowhere, just leaving.
Women.
Women.
Oh. That's why she didn't want to share a room. But I just realized something. It doesn't really matter. I'm just a dumb, stupid man, and you are too.
Oh, great. Okay. Anyway, I have to go keep the forge from being snuffed out.
Yeah, you gotta go work on your metal. I was gonna call you a bitch, but I don't know. Didn't seem appropriate.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't roll off the tongue.
Nah, you aren't a bitch. You're an asshole.
Hey, why am I an asshole?
I don't know. Multiple reasons. I don't want to get into it because you seem in
I'm sorry. You were dying on a cliff 30 feet in the air. What was I gonna fucking grow wings like a Asuriel?
I mean, I don't know. That's something that can happen for some reason.
You know what? You'll be the first to know if I decide to grow wings.
Hell yeah. No, I don't mean it. I'm just teasing you. But I don't know. Exterior. What you project outwards is sometimes a little. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just some guy in my head that he just wants me to tell people to eat shit and die all the time. And I have to like push him down. It's very concerning.
It's probably the voice of his Stinsian father.
Yeah. I'm probably turning into my dad.
Oh. That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
Anyway, love you, buddy. Go work on your, I don't know, sword.
You would, Cillian and both Acrio would, obviously to see that Acrio's, one of his arms is still in a sling, and like it functions, obviously, but it's still messed up, and he probably won't be doing a lot of actual heavy work.
I do what I want. Yeah. So I'll just meander outside and start working. Yeah. No, I want breakfast. I want brekkie!
I knock too hard on Val's room. Hey, buddy!
It's just like a almost inaudible groan that rings out. You hear like shifting as you see the still very much almost asleep Val just peeking out. Hair is a mess, just make sure that it covers his scars, but other than that, it's like all over the place as he tries to shield his eyes for a moment, blink.
Are there any of the saloon whores in the room behind you?
No.
He's so fucking exhausted. He like opens the door. He's like, "What the fuck do you guys want?" And both of us are like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, no. He's way too coy for that. So no.
I mean, you're pretty wasted.
There might have been a moment where Cillian did bring someone, and he opened the door and he saw Acrio and remembered he was sleeping with Acrio and just closed the door and sent her away.
Looks, I mean.
Are you looking up if Val would get a
No,
get
just
a lady?
No.
I'm pulling a Tristan to see if he would.
Hey, Acro would never.
No, but
Sorry, I got
you
Lorelei.
flip coins.
Yeah.
To see if you would do things all
The
the
gambling
time.
addiction. Get stressed, bare minimum, like a shirt, pants. Probably, like making his way downstairs barefoot, tries to get something to eat, to combat the hangover. Tries to see if besides Cillian anybody else is downstairs as well.
Amrita probably would be. She looks like she's going to go to the door or walk outside.
Oh, then he would like wave and gesture at like the food on the table, indicating that she's welcome to sit with them and have breakfast.
I'm not really hungry, Val. I'd rather go to the church right now, so...
He looks intrigued, but munches on like some bacon, I imagine, not questioning it further. Looking over to Cillian, offering him, to sit down and have some food.
Yeah, I'll go have some food. Before I just go a bit closer to Amrita, please answer this honestly. Do you want me to be there when you go to the doctor this afternoon? I don't care about your shield right now. Do you want me there?
She sits there, or stands there for a moment by the door. Her eyes are sort of looking every which way. Don't leave me alone with Val. Just don't.
What did I do?
I will
What
not
the
talk to you
fuck?
for days.
He shouts out from across the bar all of a sudden.
It's a miracle.
Val just suddenly bursting out into really angry words is one of the best.
Such a good bit.
You're like, but
This whole time, it's just been waiting for the spirit of indignation to take him over.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be there. Go do your
Okay.
thing. Be alone for a second. You deserve it. I turn around and go back to Val.
Yeah. She says nothing and just leaves and heads to the church.
The heavy, dense humidity and mist of the morning during the harvest moon, it almost billows into the saloon when she opens the door.
I've got nothing more important till church.
as they have breakfast, writes on a piece of paper like any plans for today.
Yeah, like a lot more.
Just
Yeah, so normally
myself-
I'm a dude without plans, just drifting with life on the roads. Right now I've got like 4 different plans, and they're all gonna need to happen today. I'm going to church, I'm going to Amrita with the doctor, I'm going to research. I'm not looking forward to that.
like
And-
genuinely snickers at that, that reaction from Cillian. Like,
Welcome to join to any of them.
does he know if the doctor attends church? I don't
He
think he
does.
does. But
No, he
he
does.
does. Okay. Yeah, then he would actually attend then, seeing as the doctor will be going there, and Cillian and Amrita and maybe other people will be there as well.
Who all, I'm just wondering who all intends to attend the service.
Lorelei will not. She has not left the room yet. She's sticking in there for a bit.
Rita wants to try and find Renford and speak to her briefly before the service begins, if that's possible, or just wait until
Sure.
after.
Yeah, no, you can.
Okay.
She would be in preparation, but being as it is very early, the first bell has just been rung. Yeah, you're there with enough time. Obviously, she's busy, but can converse quickly if you need to.
I know you're busy preparing for the service, and I wanted to try and ask you beforehand if I can, but
Oh, Amrita, I did not expect to see you again. She will come over to you and give you a big hug.
it probably happened so suddenly. She's not expecting it, but it's just the awkward
You're right,
arms
I am
out.
very
just-
busy, but please continue.
I'll keep this quiet as well. And she's looking around to see if there's people nearby, and if they are, just try to privately speak with her. I was wondering if maybe after the service you could point me in the direction of where you had to bury that woman we brought in. I just want to maybe...
You'll have to explain a bit more. What do you mean?
The one Asuriel said was a werewolf.
Why?
I just thought maybe, I don't know if a candle was ever lit for her humanity basically to be remembered. If she had it, whether or not she did,
It's an odd request. I can point you that direction.
Yeah. I just,
The gravesite has, of course, been warded and consecrated to the best of our abilities with Avacyn's absence. There's a waning of certain powers, but...
Yes, an odd request, but I, just thought someone ought to do it.
If you so choose to.
Thank you.
Gives you a side eye as you continue on.
Yeah, she's gonna go awkwardly stand in one of the pews then.
What's Lorelei up to?
She is currently trying to... I mean, I don't know how thick the curtains are, or if there even are any windows in that particular room. But she is trying, in vain, very much like trying to plug multiple holes on a sinking ship. She's trying to, like, clamp any source of light and just completely darken the room. Anytime she sees her shadow being cast, she freaks out a bit and tries to, like, tamp down whatever light source is causing it. She's just trying to make the room completely black, even though, you know, it's daytime, so that won't be very easy, but she's still attempting.
Although Stinzy is always cloudy, so it's dim at the best of times, so, you know.
Yeah. But she's still trying to make the room just completely dark, even though it's
Sure.
a fool's errand, and like she's just kind of running around in circles, but that's what's occupying her time right now. I don't know if because we paid for the room for a night, if anyone like a concierge would come in and be like, hey, clear out.
Probably not.
Okay, cool.
As long as there isn't nut on the bed.
Yeah, until like the next evening when the rooms are required for business.
But yeah, that's pretty much just what she's doing. It's just running around in circles, darkening the room.
Sure.
Looking a bit haggard.
Acrio is stoking the flames and the coals in the back of this massive cart. Anything else he's trying to do in the hour or so before the service starts?
Upgrade my armor!
With one arm?
With one arm.
Okay.
I did it to Lorelei's, I'll do it to mine.
Technically, yes.
He will spend an hour upgrading or working on his armor before the service.
You can make a blacksmith tools check. You still have the level of exhaustion, so it's a disadvantage, but...
Strength or wisdom?
We'll go with strength for this one.
13, maybe. I think that's enough to upgrade it.
Is it? I don't know what the workloads are.
Oh, I don't either. Don't worry. You think I keep this shit open?
When you're going to use it, yes.
No, because if I only have it open when I'm going to use it, then I'm never going to use it. Fuck you, one sec.
If you don't know the workload, and I don't know the workload, who's flying the plane?
Whoa!
Alright. Okay, no, I'm 2 away.
Okay. So you lay out the pieces of this splint armor that you had crafted yourself. It's seen some wear and tear, specifically some elements of rust that you've neglected or else not been able to keep up on. Have to replace some of those pieces. You don't get it quite where you want it by the time, the bells are ringing again, but you're close.
I disassembled everything and there's still like 3 buckles. I'm like, fuck, no, service, shit. Alright, I guess I have to go to service.
I mean,
the DM's words imply that I have to.
No, you're free to do what you want.
No, I'll go to service.
What is Amrita's reaction, either standing in the corner or sitting in one of the pews when Cooper Hillcrest enters the church?
She keeps her facial reaction normal, but her eyes follow his movements, wondering where he will go. But she feels high alert, given...
Is she trying to remain unseen?
That would just be suspicious. She's just staying in the corner, not really doing much of anything or moving at all, but just acknowledging.
He does catch sight of you just as he's taking off his leather slouch style hat. His hair is shiny and well combed, shaved except for this bushy mustache, clean pressed white shirt with a black leather vest, one of those bolo type deals. And he is alone as you watch him and he catches sight of you, neither of you saying anything or really changing your course at all, but he will march his way up to the front pew, take a seat just on the edge of it.
Yeah, she's not going to interact with him.
The rest of the pews start to fill up.
Put her hair back as well as she can, and maybe like a simple ponytail or bun with the headband on there.
Still this metal plate across the front of it that Acrio had made. It's a little odd compared to how everybody else appears, but what's Val's deal when he catches sight of the doctor in full medical regalia and the rest walking up the pathway past the graph toward the church?
He's, after breakfast put himself a bit more together, to look presentable. Seeing the doctor in like his usual getup, the doctor's very paranoid, but there's like, internally he goes like, he could have put on something nicer than, the grim doctor visage, but he knows that's a doctor. Seeing the others fills him with excitement, and there is once more this almost pulse of like hopeful, faintly optimistic happiness that almost vibrates in his chest for a moment as he would proceed to like hurry up and catch up to them in order to meet with the doctor and the rest of the folks.
Cillian's starting to get some of the white roots on part of his hair showing where he had dyed it. Does he do anything to like hide that out of vanity, or what's his presentation this morning?
I think it's like risque Sunday best. And I don't think he's ashamed of his hair.
At this point.
No.
But yeah, Val reaches the rest of you who are making their way up. Acrio, probably looking a little bit not as well presented as Cillian. As you can see, he's obviously looks like he's been working. He's got a soot smudge on his face that he didn't realize.
Like a mother, I go up to him and grab like a handkerchief and sort of dust it away.
Hey, Avacyn! You're gonna rub my skin off!
Yeah, I mean, it's fighting back a little.
It
gotta look your best.
Come off.
No, I know a solution, and I lick it, and I do it again. Yeah, sorry, it's not working. It's just sort of spread out now.
Yeah, in the soot way, it's just now all the way across his face instead of the one spot.
Vel kind of, has kind of been smiling. He seems to sort of mellow out. He gives everybody this sort of apologetic expression, touching his stomach.
That's the hangover, man, but sure, sleep it off.
Makes his way back over to the inn in order to get to his room.
Acrio, I've lied about being sick too many times. It's obvious.
Sorry, I was thinking so much about what I'm doing after this. I just completely blanked on everything that was just said.
You got it, man. Don't be so obsessed with your work. It's not worth it.
I don't know. It's pretty worth it.
Go into the church. Find like the middle pew.
Sure. You can also spot Cooper, just like an obvious silhouette and just this presence in any space that he is. But yeah, Renford gives traditional speech during the sermon. Those of you who do attend will get bonus after the long rest for travel, an angelic blessing for what's to come. But yeah, what's going on after the service as everything lets out?
That's like around noon?
Yep. The doctor is obviously heading back to his place of business expectantly.
This will join in. So, have you decided, Amrita? Resin or alchemy?
It'll probably have to be the alchemy, but I just need to get something from Renford first.
Okay. I'll wait here.
Alright, it'll just take a moment. And yeah, she's gonna go walk and try to acquire a candle and just inquire where that spot is.
She would have given you basic directions to it, so yeah.
All right, yeah, she comes back and Cillian probably sees her slip a candle in the bag. All right, time to walk that way.
I tell the story of when I broke my leg falling out of a tree and how the doctor we met on the road was an asshole.
Traveling physicians often find themselves with little time.
I have to lay in the chair again, Dr. Mueller.
I will be opening up an incision. Where's Val? Valerie not with you.
Might show up,
Yep,
but
Val
I'm
is
an
not.
amazing assistant. So just point a little more directly to the tool you need, because I don't have that sort of medical insight, Got nimble fingers.
You'll have to do. And yeah, did I miss it? Did Amrita decide which way she was going to go?
Probably the experimenting way.
Take
Yeah.
the long route?
Yep. She hates it, but would probably rather just do that and see what happens.
Need to get a look at things, see how unique the problem is. And yeah, he will, with Cillian's assistance, basically remove the scar tissue to the point that the bone and brain matter is exposed. But what's Acrio doing at that point?
This is getting up to something visual. My hair is in a bun to keep the hair out of Amrita's hole.
Don't know. Why?
No, it was coming out and I didn't want to stop it.
It was coming.
The brain hole.
I think he probably gets back to, like, immediately after everything's over. No, like a hi, how are you? How's it going? Nice to see you. I'm back again. Bye. And then immediately slips out of the church to like back to the forge to finish that like last thing. And he goes to pick up the hammer. Finally, after like 4 hours of being awake, realizes that he hasn't seen it Lorelei once. So he's gonna go check on her.
What? Save? Why am I offended by that? Fucking gambling on seeing Lorelei, bitch. He's gambling on me, guys.
Oh.
So he'll toss his hammer back on the anvil, walk inside, and meander on upstairs, and just on her door, just a light.
The response is like almost, it's like a hiss. It's just, what?
Never mind.
That came out angrier than I meant it to. More panicked. Think more panicked. But it's distressed.
Is the door locked?
If Amrita locked it, it would be. But if she didn't, then it's not locked.
I don't think Amrita would have any reason to lock the door behind
no,
her.
she would have unlocked it to go to church, so it's probably not locked.
Yeah, he'll just slowly open the door and look in. So light just spills into this, what I assume is a pitch black room.
Very dim.
Close the door. Close the door. Close the door. When she walks over, she doesn't have her cloak on, and you see leaning against like one of the cracks in the, like where the curtain goes up against the window. She was like holding her cloak against that, and she walks over, pulls Acrio into the room, and just slams the door shut. What?
What's going on?
Nothing's going on. Fuck the light. And she goes back to the window and is like trying to put her cloak back up to it. It's like, I can't get it to fucking stay. I can't get it to stay. I can't get it to stay dark in here.
Acrio moves over and sets his hand on hers, pulls it away slightly to take her cloak off and open the window.
No, fuck, no. She's like she backs away from the light source.
Yeah, immediately as you throw the curtains open, there is a hard silhouetted shadow on the back wall of Lorelei as she's scrambling back away from into one of the darker corners. Also, can I have you roll, Lorelei, we'll do a sanity check for this.
Oh, good.
Hey. Save or check? They're both the same, but I just...
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
But it just needs to be a check. Based on that, you tell me how bad her nightmares was, the night before. How many times did she wake up Amrita in the middle of the night?
She wouldn't have woken Amrita up, but she would have been... I think when Amrita would have woken up, she would have seen that Lorelei had probably taken refuge underneath the bed, and that's where she had slept.
Amrita has pretty good senses of hearing and that sort of thing.
I was about to say,
like,
yeah.
If she's restless at all, then she
yeah.
probably would have unintentionally woken
Yeah,
up as well.
yeah, it wouldn't have. She wouldn't have like gone to shake her awake, but yeah, no, she would have doing her best to be quiet. But yeah, no, she would have been up and down, sort of pacing around the room multiple times at night. I don't think her nightmares are like the worst they've ever been, because you know she's definitely had worse, but it's definitely with what Amrita told her yesterday. It's like sort of death by 1,000 paper cuts, and it's like this sucks. It sucks. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. She took it as a confirmation that things are bad.
Acrio will just join her in the corner and put her cloak on her.
She's like pulls it over her head and like becomes a pile in the corner. Things are bad.
You gotta talk to me if things are bad.
I can't. I don't. You already are so busy with so many things. This is not something you need to deal with as well.
But I'm busy with things that can wait, and this can't.
Amrita said something's after me, and the fact that she finds that out not long after my shadow basically starts interacting with me directly, I think it's I don't know, something's bad. Things are bad. The thing is, I don't even know if it's that. It could be like 2 other things at least. Something's after me. And my shadow can move things.
For now, it seems like your shadow isn't trying to hurt you. And
It's not me I'm worried about.
I know. But worrying about what could be and what isn't happening currently isn't going to help anyone. If something bad happens with whatever's going on with that, and he looks towards the very normal shadow at the other side of the room right now,
Super normal.
then we'll be here. But for now, you can't let it consume you.
She slowly like lifts her cloak off of her head and looks up at him, and she has a sort of look of disbelief. Are you just telling me to stop worrying about it?
Yes!
Can I have you
yeah.
roll a
That's
D20,
your solution?
Acrio?
What?
D20, please.
Oh, sick. 1.
Nice. Okay, cool.
And in the back of his head,
Oh, wait.
they're both stupid.
Human determination, baby! 17! Fuck you!
Ooh, that's the look of a man whose plan's just been foiled.
No, it's whether or not I want to allow that to even be used for this.
Oh,
it's
fuck
not
you.
a check or a save.
Acrio's human determination applies to all things. It ain't luck. It's just Acrio going, ugh!
Putting a pin in it!
I think you want to say no. So say no.
I'll allow it this one time.
Love you.
Despite Lorelei's unrationalizing of his encouragement, I think Acrio feels a little bit more like he did before Riverax.
Is that to me or to
Both.
Oh. Do I want to say put a pin in it? No.
The pin is implied.
Yeah, so Acrio will take both of Lorelei's hands and try to help her to her feet. There's so many things that can be done if we just don't worry about things. And I worry about things. Everyone worries about things.
Yeah, I was about to ask, have you met me?
Hey, worrying is what's kept us alive so far, but you can't do too much of it. Now, come on, we're gonna go get some food.
But what if it's like a big target on my back and it hurts someone? That's why I didn't go to church. If something's targeting me, what if it sees me walk into a massive crowd full of people and is like, beautiful, send in a fireball.
What's a fireball?
That was
It's like a
Asuriel was
torch.
working on.
It's like a torch, but big.
Oh. Well, bad things can happen all the time. We've upset so many people. But if we hide, then we won't be there when people actually need us.
Hate it when people are right. Where's everybody else? Where did they go?
I'm not actually too sure.
He wasn't worried about it.
Yeah, I was doing some morning work and then went to the church. Cillian did this to me. Just point to the smear halfway across my face.
How did...
It's a very light smudge of gray, but yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't know that
ask.
oil takes soot off. He used his spit. Didn't work.
Lorelei would know that. Amrita said she was going to Dr. Mueller, so FYI.
Whether or not she would have recalled that.
But yeah, that's why it's...
In her panicked stupor.
But, you know, they might have been like, oh, let's go here instead, you know.
Let's leave, just casually.
Yeah, how do you know she didn't just decide to go on to Handweir by herself?
Yeah. Just let that panic set in. A new anxiety.
Forget that anxiety, Lorelei. Have a new one. Well, Amrita's probably at the doctor's.
They're fine. They're all in town. We'll see them eventually. Food, and I start pushing her towards the door.
You were just telling me about being there when other people need us. Why would you then?
And if you starve to death, you can't be there for them.
Look at me. I'm not going to starve to death in one morning.
As you push Lorelei out the room.
Oh god, I just realized this is going to look very strange to like a housekeeper. Whoa.
What's Val's reaction as he's also in the room next to you? He seems to have been entering with like a handful, or more like an armful, his one arm, full of like a lot of food that's been prepared and like not on plates. It's like bundled up and yeah. But what's his reaction to seeing Acrio like right up behind Lorelei, pushing her out of the room?
Shut the fuck up, Jake.
A voice from the sky, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
Definitely like trying to like fumble back, and so they're like, you know, they're pressing up each other a little bit, and then they kiss. No.
Yes.
First, Valky freezes up like a deer in the headlights, almost as it was about to enter his room with like the bunch of food, but as he sees them,
oh hi Val.
Hey.
And he just enters
No,
his
Val,
room.
wait! Don't look like that. Is not what it looks like.
No response.
He's gonna write so much gossip.
Valerie's gonna start a tabloid.
Yeah.
The shit I've seen, man.
The lore accurate. I can't fucking speak.
The lore accurate.
Wow.
The lore accurate
But yes,
tabloid.
For the purposes of this, Acrio will get a second point on his path of devotion.
Ooh.
I get a what?
I almost Agnesied you again, dude.
Agnesied? What?
I explained it to you earlier. The Agnesi got him acting unwise.
Oh my god.
Just don't worry about it. Xenoblade joke.
All right, continue
Stop.
onward now. I can't.
Stop. We're all horrible people.
What is Cillian's state after the whole surgery is performed and Amrita is still being bandaged up and he's like ready to head out to the tower? I think Casper would probably have caught up with you guys. How does he look after witnessing all that?
Disguising worry, probably. Projecting that everything is okay, but sort of feeling, I don't know, it's basically brain operation what's going on.
Brain adjacent.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's probably going to be sharp things close to brain. So he's worried, but projecting confidence, sort of talking her through it, sort of annoying her when things get scary so that she doesn't have to be afraid but be annoyed at him.
Can we do the thing with like modern brain surgery where like Amrita has to play an instrument, while they're doing brain surgery?
I didn't want to suggest that. I forgot it.
Oh yeah, I have my.
This was a preliminary look. Like, doctor hasn't done anything other than open up
Sure.
her forehead to see what the damage is. So I think he will probably estimate, give me one, roughly 86 gold is what it's going to cost to gather all the supplies necessary, the alchemical components, and borrow from something that's close enough to human that won't be immediately rejected in the process.
Pig.
I will pay him 90 immediately up front.
The doctor is a bit surprised. I did say 86.
You're worth it, man. Put the other 4 into... You gave my buddy a new arm. You
How's that
earned...
going, by the way? He's taken care of it.
I mean, he heard it again, stupid idiot, but... It's fine. I haven't seen any, like, I can't move my pinky or something. He's fine.
Excellent.
Question.
It's a small enough hole in the skull. I might be able to get things ready within 4 days. With Val paying attention to you afterward, we may be able to leave within a day after that.
You
I would
just jumped up
advise
to third
rest.
favorite doctor.
But pulls the 4 extra gold between his gloved fingers and rubs them together. But you do as you wish.
Thanks, Doc, for everything. think I am done stalling, and I need to go read.
Casper enters at that moment, the parish blade. There's that bell on the door that just chimes. Fully like well pressed uniforms, Cathar blues, obviously done up still from the appearance at church every Sunday, and silver spear at his side. I had heard that you were here at the doctor's office, Dr. Mila. If everything, I don't want to interrupt, but you had mentioned wanting to go out to the tower.
I think we just finished. And I've got some important stuff to look into. And some important stuff to tell you, actually, Casper.
I have
on the way?
Did a few calculations. I have payment for clearing the pass. I very much appreciated Angel's blessings upon you.
You're a lifesaver. Are you curious about what it was?
He had asked that several times the night before, yeah.
Right. Well,
but nobody
that first,
could
then.
really immediately explain. However, he will, seeing that Amrita bandaged up and everything like that, waver between who to give it to.
Yeah, I imagine she's sort of... I assume the doctor maybe would have had to do some whatever anesthesia, that sort of thing. She's staggering and sitting up a little bit.
Only if she would have asked for it.
Yeah, probably, since she knew he had the stuff to numb it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, some kind of topical. It wouldn't like make her drunk or anything, like, or drugged.
Well, yeah, because it's not going in the skin. It's whatever.
Yeah.
You'll want to give it to him. I'll probably be resting up at the inn.
I'll take
yes.
it. It's been a while since I've had enough money. It's ridiculous.
Don't use all of it at once. We need it for supplies, Cillian.
Rest up. You seem to be... well, I can't imagine everything that you've been through, but I would like to hear about it, as he gestures for Cillian to follow him and listen to the tale. As you pass the forge cart, he would also ask about that. That is, I assume, Acrio. I'd seen him this morning, but didn't come in with you.
Yeah, he's pretty damn proud of it, I think. Prized possession. He's a talented forger, and he wanted to do it wherever, whenever, which I sort of get,
I've heard
I guess.
of blacksmithies transported, but this is more impressive than I've seen before.
It's his best work yet, I agree.
And yeah, anything you would like to tell him about what's going on or what your plans are as you head out to the tower.
Yeah,
he is
I'll
all
shorten.
ears.
I'll shorten the creature of the to not RPing. I just tell him everything that I know, excluding Asuriel stuff.
Sure.
And excluding Big Vampire Lord.
Mm-hmm.
other than that,
Do you mention
so-
the Bright Wardens by name?
I was gonna go look it up, but I guess that's fine.
I mean, it's up to you if you want to look it up first.
I don't fully trust Casper, so I'll keep that to myself.
Sure.
For now. Other than that, I want to tell him, all right, so something you should know that is important, and if you're one of them, well, fuck me, I guess. There are these people, call themselves the Veiled. It's interesting and scary. It's why we went to Braylett in the first place. They infiltrated our party with a very nice old man who turned out to be one of them. We went there because I think they lured a creature called Riverax there. Big devil who was ascending. There was a lot of black mana and stuff.
Hey, are you sure it wasn't a demon?
Well, it used to be a devil, at least. I think it was ascending to demon. Am I
I'm just
wrong?
curious. I never heard of a devil with a name. They are not usually the type to... They are more animalistic, I will say. Less individualistic. The devils are chaotic, mischievous, evil, disgusting things, but want to have a name, that is... Well, it's more like a demon. Ascending, I say, that's... The Veiled... I will be honest, I thought they were a rumor. We had heard...
You have heard
something...
of them?
Yes, out of Corsiva. The Burgomaster apparently had been associated in some way. That was the rumor. However,
I mean, I'm pretty sure I can confirm that.
What exactly that has to do with anything, I couldn't say. Can I have you roll percentile real quick? Yeah, he would say there were stories of people who had come across from Gavany as well, mentioning something. It's always very inconsistent, is how I would have to put it.
Probably on purpose.
When I had first heard of the Burgomaster Yond in the capital city, we suspected the Veiled was some kind of secret society, some kind of cult perhaps infiltrating places of power. You have that issue, of course. Power attracts the worst, societies at times. But which could go along with summoning a demon for personal power, but a devil to ascend, that is...
Well, the thing is, they sort of forced us to fight it by explaining that it was coming and we can just, I don't know, let a town die. So we did.
So you didn't foil their attempts,
No, we played like exactly into their hands, which is why I'm sort of spreading the information, because I'm sure they want to, work from the shadows, be evil masterminds, and I want to just lay it all out, because these fuckers are up to something. Because when we weakened it enough, when it almost died, like this woman with all these undead, and honestly, it was pretty cool. If I were an evil woman doing evil things, I would have done it exactly the same. But she just, I don't know, snuffed it out, teleported it away, made it disappear. I'm not sure. But they're up to something, and I want everyone to know.
The tricky thing with if this is a cult, the intentions that are always obscured, veiled, I suppose you could say. I can't think of any reason to summon a devil, as it was an experiment, perhaps? Try to convert something lesser into something greater with black mana. You never know with these things.
You think she herself wants to do the same thing?
There have been those who have tried.
Right.
That actually reminds me, the Yond, when he was killed, the story goes, he took on a somewhat devilish appearance. His skin turned red, and he had they say he had some kind of twisted horns grow out of his skull. Perhaps they had already been there, and he was disguised. That is odd.
Seems to be following some kind of pattern. Thank you, Casper. I did not know or did not remember that. Well, I'm trying to fuck them up. And if you're one of them, you have to say me. That's how it works. You have to tell me, because
I assure you, I am not.
That's in the law. I'm pretty sure. And
well, I can't speak to the bylaws of mad cults, but
I think you look very good in a veil, but just stay away from it, please.
Looks a little perplexed at that. Don't have any wedding plans.
Okay. Unfortunate. You're a catch. Well, now you know, and I'm sorry that I don't know more. We're just getting outplayed left and right, and I'm fucking tired of it.
I cannot guarantee we have anything about that at the tower. They seem to be... the stories are fairly new.
It was a long shot anyway.
Now, sometimes cults will hide their trails by changing their names, methodologies over time, so they are not connected with past activities, but...
Okay. That's smart. There's this guy, he called himself Remus something. He, I don't know. I'd get why you want to follow him. Let's just put it that way. Sure, he's smart enough to do something like that. Anyway, spread it around.
Keep an ear out for the name. Yes.
Thank you.
And yeah, as you approach the tower, it doesn't seem to necessarily be any worse, but it's still that weird, intense angle, especially as you're climbing the stairs, and some of them are like incredibly steep, and others it's like, because of the tilt, it's all very off-putting inside.
Okay. So, course of action. First, I want to, because this was mentioned as a sister tower, I want to find any evidence of Bright Warden activities, something very old, maybe even in the walls itself, or sketched or etched or anything. That's sure. First priority.
Yeah, go ahead and you can roll investigation, and also have you roll a d100.
Investigation. Ooh. What the fuck?
Interesting, okay.
Okay, damn, boy.
Well, we'll say, first of all, as far as your investigation goes, you go through these mostly older tomes of church record. You do find reference in one of the back of the books. You flipped to the end of one, a historical record of pre-Avacinian feudal states. And toward the end, you found several pages of what looked to be like, at first you would have thought it was like family trees, and it is to an extent, but it's like heraldry that's passed down from knights, to squires and such like that.
Oh, cool. And
you recognize a couple of the names as being ones that you had found in the records at the Bright Warden's Tower.
That's cool. Just something for flavor. I think as Cillian starts to read, he keeps doing that thing where you read a page and don't collect any of it in your mind, and then sort of goes to sit with his family in a circle, or some members of his family, and sort of does almost around the campfire, everyone reads a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And that way he gets through it.
Yeah, and the pictures help as well. So what you rolled was a sack made out of a local monstrosity's hide, and I don't know what to do with that. Exactly. What's a good creature for Stinzia?
Well, elk.
I mean, that's
really
not really a
fucked up
monstrosity,
elk.
but sure.
Really fucked up elk.
Spunk something up.
Yeah, you hit those shit with your cart, you're dead.
Oh god, the skin of a feral vampire is metal as fuck.
Yeah, but I don't know that they would. That was my first thought, but I don't think they would have that. So here's what I'm going to say. You find, tucked amongst a bunch of the older books, like in one of the dustier corners, a bag that seems to have a bunch of like older papers and several like thin pamphlet type books, most of which are faded beyond even being able to recognize what they once said. But it's interesting, the sack itself, you don't know how many decades, if not centuries, it's been sitting here. It's like made of hide, but there are feathers on it. It's like a leather with the trimmed like around the opening, and they almost crumble when you touch them. And I'll have you make a nature check, or possibly history, whichever you prefer.
What happened to
That is
Asuriel as soon as
convenient.
she left our site?
They are black feathers, I should say. You've never seen one in person, but you've heard at one time creatures referred to as a griffin, a, mammal-like creature for the most part, where the hide could be used for this sort of thing, but often at least partially feathered, usually 4 or 6 limbs at times with a bird-like head.
Badass. I will steal this, Jake.
Sure. Despite being super old and the paper's almost crumbled, like the bag itself is endured quite well. And you're not sure if that's due to what it was made of. Maybe that was what the intention of storing things in it was the first place, but...
Sure. Anything interesting in it? Or is that all just
like I said,
dust
the papers and stuff
in
like
the
that,
wind?
yeah, there's nothing particularly useful in there. You can find several books with references to cults, the Sturkstag, other cults of madness, all of which are presumed to, like, you find record of, and this is where we destroyed them, and they don't exist anymore. And then it's like they pop up again in another completely different book where it's like, and this is where we destroyed them, and they don't exist anymore. They always, like, a bunch of them just constantly reappear.
I note
the
some of
Innistrad
the
Evil War.
authors of those mentioning, like, it's destroyed.
I would say a lot of these are church books that are more like copied multiple times. So you're not really sure who wrote them initially, but they're all church records.
For sure.
Unfortunately, no references to anyone specifically referred to as the Veiled.
No family trees with an Abel last name or a... How about, the last thing I wanted to look into was if there's any historical precedent for these cryptoliths that have been showing up around the world?
That you would not find.
Okay. All right. Then I spent some hours there.
What's anybody else's plans, like, during the rest of this long rest and time before you head out of Silburn? Would anyone have ever mentioned to the Parish Blades specifically, like, what your future plans are?
No, I don't think Cillian would. He just wanted to spread veiled information as wide as possible.
Rita wouldn't. I'll just let whoever else answer that first, because I do have just 2 other things before leaving Silburn, so...
Talk to who about who? Oh, our plans.
The Parish
Yeah,
Blades,
like-
Yeah, I don't even
Yeah.
think all of us are that clear on what our plans even are.
I want to do a walk and talk with Casper at some point.
Sure.
Probably like as soon as possible. And
Once he gets back from the tower after, escorting Cillian out there, he would probably want to converse with the Forge Master, like folk hero in Stenzia, despite that not being where he's from. So yeah, he would be willing to find you.
Casper!
Acrio Revito, it has been some time. I have heard much of your situations going on in Braylet.
Yes.
But always from the horse's mouth is so much clearer.
Every day is new and exciting. Here, come on. Let's walk and talk. I'll get away from the forge for a little while. Set the hammer down.
Quite warm these days, and I can see you've been at it some time. Your arm is okay, yes?
It'll heal.
From what I understand of this creature, this bat-like thing, it was quite harrowing.
Terrifying. But a lot of things tend to be that way. You just keep hitting it till it's dead, I guess.
That is one way to go about it. Is the Cathar's burden.
Does your town have a blacksmith?
Yes, of course.
Good. And I assume horseshoes, nails, farming implements, to that extent, no. Nothing beyond that.
Well, we did have... there is always the special commissions for weapons and armor, but it's not exactly his specialty. That's why we had, I believe it was one of the inquisitors. It was Inquisitor Welgeist had commissioned weapons that you had brought for us, and we have put them to good use, I assure you.
Yes. That's good. I'll be here for about 4 days. It's not enough time to make him, whoever your blacksmith is, a master, but I think it would be good, if he's not busy, to spend some time with me.
Well, tradesmen are always busy. You will return to the forge, I assume, after that? Another commission?
No, that's why I made the cart. I'm always being pulled in 30 different directions. Someone wants me to go Gavany, someone wants me in Nephalia, Kessig, Stensia, back to the forge. There's only one of me and 100 places that I need to be.
You have found a way to transport the holiness of the forge. That is fascinating.
Yeah, it certainly helps. I just hope there's no repercussions to it. It's certainly
I would keep that in my prayers.
Certainly no angelic blessing. That's entirely my own makeshift solution for a problem that shouldn't be solved. But I think we'll be here for another week.
4 days a week. It's what I've kind of been hearing from several of your compatriots.
Yeah. And then I think after that, we're probably headed to Gavany. If it was up to me, I'd...
Across the Ruined Pass. Looks at you, looks at the cart, looks back to you. That may be a problem.
How come?
I'm not an engineer by any means. However, I
an
imagine
engineer?
that this cart is incredibly heavy. The bridge over the gorge in the Cruin may not support its weight.
I'm sorry, what's an engineer?
Bridge builder.
Oh, yes.
I'm not sure it was designed for this kind of implementation. You could always take the old pass, but not used much anymore. A little twistier, but that's how they initially made their way across the Cruin Pass to into Stinzia. Not really used, as I said, with the construction across the gorge several hundred years ago, but it's doable. You may need to find a guide, though.
What is the span of the bridge?
I've never had to measure it myself. It's a good 50 paces.
All right. Well, I guess I'm not building another bridge. Okay.
I mean,
well, I'm
welcome
glad
to. That would be quite a feat. Not that I would put it past the Forge Master to accomplish anything in this regard, but
okay. A guide.
Obviously trying to show respect too.
I don't want to call you a fucking idiot here, Mr. Forge Master, but
the whole ass bridge.
Yeah, a guide you mentioned.
I can ask around. There are several people who travel that way. As you said, you have several days, so I'll see who I can find.
If you find them, we're willing to pay. Of course, nothing's for free. How's the town been after everything?
There's an odd shift in the wind. I thought maybe it was just the harvest moon. It's hard to explain exactly. Things are not quite as they were when I first was stationed here. A bit harder is the way I would have to describe it. There has been a flint's edge taken to the people of this town.
Life in Innistrad's never easy.
Particularly after Cooper had to, send away his family.
Send away his family?
Yes, from what I understand, his wife, Regina, her condition worsened. And Big Tuck, the people of this town had so much work has come down the pike. Couldn't keep track of him as well. On the other side of the pass the Gavany side, there is a facility, the Gaia Reach Sanitarium. I think Cooper has been lonely since then.
Okay. I guess I'll pay him a visit.
That might do him some good.
We'll do a lot of bad. Whisper under his breath. Well, it was good talking to you.
Always a pleasure.
I have some work to do, so.
What's Amrita up to?
Before she...
Sorry, I should go back because I never told you. Cillian, you were given 55 gold pieces.
Yes, I didn't want to ask about that.
Yeah. Now you go, Amrita.
Okay. Before she goes back to the inn, she has written something she will put up on the board where the sensorium symbol is, and it will say, "Caution, mysterious cryptoliths made of mana have recently appeared outside the cities of Braelet and Silber and Stinzia. The one near Braelet possessed blue mana. Silburn had black mana. Intention? ? Unclear." And just post it.
Okay. Noted. Sure.
But yeah, she will post that, contemplate what to write to repel him later, but she is going to take this candle and go to the grave of the woman that had the baby booties.
Right. The one who was working with the Bitter Hearts?
Yes.
Okay. Anything particular you are wanting to do out there, or just meditate?
She walks, sits down, and sets the candle on top of where it appears there is a mound of dirt. It's probably lower by now, but she puts it on, and
you find a marked space. There are several of these. It's a rocky-ish area, but enough soil to dig down. Most of them are older, but this open air graph outside of the city proper. Yeah, it's not even a symbol of Avacyn exactly. It's more just like an unnamed stake that has been put right there just to mark, hopefully no undead appear. There's probably some angelic glyphs on them just basically scratched into it.
She lights up the candle, taking 2 rocks, remembering what it was like to camp in Kessig, and she sits there and watches as the flame flickers, takes out her flute and inhales, but stops for a moment. For a long time, I still don't know what to make of my situation sometimes. I wonder if you thought the same. I wonder if the herbalists in Corsiva, at least the ones called Ludo and Natalia, they have each other. Were you a mother once? Did you have family you loved too, but you couldn't keep them safe? Who were you? And did you have your humanity left? Or did you become so consumed by so much anger, so much rage that you became something else? And she stares up at the sky. Even though it's cloudy, she still feels the pull and the change and the harvest and of when the next moon will come. And she begins to hum a familiar lullaby that her mother used to sing to her, and sort of sings some of the lines. My little blue-eyed girl, hair as black as the night, loving arms will hold you tight. And she takes out her flute and begins to play the melody as well from the music box. Doesn't sing the whole thing, but stays there. Maybe the rest of the day, or when it looks like the sun is setting.
with those ember hues in the clouds as you're spending this time out here. You see on one of the ridges, this rocky outcropping, almost a plateau, what looks like the deepest, blackest wolf you have ever seen just start to paw its way to the edge and look out over at you.
She makes eye contact with it and stops playing the flute, goes back to some of the lyrics. Till it's time to rise, our little blue-eyed girl, hair as black as the night. Amrita, my dear, we're happy you're here. And for a moment, she just sort of closes her eyes and thinks.
And that's where we're going to drop the curtain on this week's session.